Hello, everyone, and welcome to another live stream. Today we're following under the umbrella of, or we're talking under the topic of improvisation. Thinking about some um, ways to outline chord changes. So that's going to be the topic of today. And I want to start real kind of basic, since we're just beginning to talk about this tune, and so we'll get into some further things as the weeks progress. We'll try to focus on this tune for October, see how it goes, and so I'm gonna start with some playing, and I think what I'm gonna do, I was testing this out a little bit earlier. I'm gonna try to bring instruments in and out, or maybe mostly just in. So I might try to play without instruments to start us out, and then bring them in. I'll see how that goes. That's something I'm just kind of barely testing out. So we'll get going with all of that. Try to bring some good views on things. Okay. All right, well, here we go. Do a little playing to start us out, and I'll mute the microphone if I remember here. Okay, so there, just kind of to go over the overall. What I just did is I played a cappella, so just no instruments, just on my own, and I really didn't play any chords. So that's sort of the point of today's talk, which is you don't have to actually play chords in order to outline chords. Um, so you can use chord tones, and I didn't use arpeggios exclusively, but I was staying with chord tones on some beats, just to sort of outline what the changes are. So if you have a moment where you're playing somewhere, if you're asked to play an intro, if you're asked to play um, for a moment, just on your own, and um, and let's say you don't feel great about doing chord melody, or you just don't want to, or you want to go for the sound, then you can play single line a melody, and play through the changes. So that's kind of what we're aiming to talk about today. All right. So how do we work at that? Well, if we have a chord, like we'll just kind of survey some of these chords. If we have an A minor 7, then there are 4 notes that are kind of in that sound. Okay, turn down a little bit so I can dig in a little more without blasting the speakers. So then you can play like that. So then, okay, and then you want to be able to do inversions of it too. So so to be able to play kind of the from any one of the notes as a starting note, so any one of the 4 notes as a starting tone. So same thing with D minor. Okay, so we can outline those different changes, and then as far as the arpeggios, at least in this tune, we have a dominant 7th, we have minor 7th, flat 5. We have, did I mention major 7? So so really just kind of a handful of types. So we get to the G7, play 4 tones. So we can play these different, you might even think of them as inversions, but we just want to kind of know where they are around the neck, and then we can kind of move around them, and play other notes that are chromatic, or other notes that are just in key, and things like that. Okay, so C major. Just keep kind of going around. Well, C changes to C7 there for a moment too, so we could practice that. Okay, and then to F major. So that's a secondary dominant sort of thing. So we could think about harmony as we're playing a melody. Okay, and then we have the 4 chord. F major 7. Then we have the minor 7 flat 5. Okay, so we'll play all the different inversions of that as well. A dominant 7. And so on like that. And that kind of covers a lot of it. Then we get back to A minor. We talked about that. We have a dominant. We have another secondary dominant sort of thing. And then D minor. to C. Right, so we could really use those chord tones. So I'll go through and play a little bit more, maybe a little slower this time, and maybe I'll leave the mic on and kind of call out some of these chords as I go. So we'll go kind of slow. I'm not sure how this is going to work out. Try it. So we'll go about 87 beats per minute here. And I'd like to keep the MIDI neck going, so maybe I'll give that a try. Maybe I'll just dig in more so that the MIDI neck kind of picks up, and I will avoid using slurs and things. All right. Okay, so let's try that out. So I think I'll leave the mic on, and then I'll call out some of the chord changes as we go. Okay, so we have A minor, D minor, G7, C major 7, dominant 7, F major 7, B minor 7, flat 5, E7, A minor, A7, D minor 7, G7, C major 7, E minor, A7, and then D minor 7, G7, back to C major 7, and B minor 7 to E7, A minor 7, D minor 7, G7, C major 7, dominant 7, F major 7, B minor 7, flat 5, E7, flat 9. I'm gonna put that in there. A7, D minor 7, G7, E minor, A7, and D minor, G7, and C. So they labeled that as C6. So hopefully, I don't know if I was getting all those MIDI notes to show up the whole time, but hopefully that kind of gives you an idea, right? So I played pretty much continuous quarter notes there, and kind of the approach that I took just now was to take wherever I left off, or the last of the four notes on the last of the four notes in the arpeggio, and I thought about the closest note, either a step up or down from it. I think that's generally the way that kind of went. But you could also do it with strictly root notes as well. All right, so let's take that as a guide, and we'll work at playing those kinds of arpeggios, maybe a little bit more up tempo, and this time I will and you can do some kind of cool things. Maybe I'll try a couple things out as we go. Maybe I'll leave the keyboard on there so we can kind of hear that. All right, so again, gonna try to stick primarily to arpeggios or chord tones. go through again, and I'm just going to play a little more freely. I do it a little more freely now. Okay, so there, I just kind of freed it up. So there's a couple things you could do, kind of in your practice session, is to see if you can really play strictly chord tones, and then maybe try a chorus with playing some more chromatic passages. So I started that last chorus out with just really a lot of chromatic tones, a lot of tones that weren't in there, and so hopefully you can kind of hear that if your foundation is on that on those chord tones, then they will likely kind of show up and play. So all right, so let's talk about some other tones, which we'll probably get into a little bit further into, but with some other talks. But nines are a good kind of tone to maybe work up to. So you might take an arpeggio, like chord tones, and see if you could play up to the ninth, or maybe play from the third up to the nine, or maybe even skip the root and play. So that's kind of basically playing like a C, have C major, and then taking playing an E minor on top of that. But anyway, so kind of including the third, and maybe starting with an arpeggio that is not directly like the chord name itself. So let's say D minor. So you might start with an arpeggio on the F. So play an F major 7, and that gives you the sound of kind of a D minor. And then as you do that, you might think about certain tones, like on a minor 7 flat 5, the flat 9 versus the natural 9, that becomes a little bit of an issue. And then so just thinking about how dissonant that is, or can be. So let's take it kind of slow and just kind of maybe explore that as an idea for chord tones. My volume is here. All right. so let's hear what we got here. I might leave the mic on in case I talk a little bit. So we're starting with A minor. D minor. G7. C major. Now we're going to dominant. So we're going to hear that's pretty dissonant. There we put a flat 9 on that A7 just as that came up. So here you could even put a flat 9 on that as well to resolve it down. So A minor 7, so I'm playing C major 7 arpeggio, D minor 7 playing F major 7. Okay, just kind of sew on like that. Here we've got to change it up a little bit. Well, here that's flat 9 resolved to the 5th, right? We could play a sharp 5 there. Okay, so I hope some of those were kind of showing up on the MIDI neck there, but hopefully kind of hearing that as well. All right, so hopefully you can take that and run with it. So I'm gonna play it a little bit more and just kind of generally take some of these concepts and play a little more up tempo. I want to try to vary things a little bit because I also did another talk today on the open channel, and so I'm thinking I might do a little some different feels on this. Maybe do like a Latin one or do some different kinds of things. I'll do some listening to see any other arrangements. I'm not sure how deep I can get into it, but anyway, try to keep it a little bit fresh. But I played with these backing tracks for the last couple days. So, all right, let's do another little bit of playing here. right, everyone. Well, thanks again for checking out this video. If you are a member of the YouTube member area channel, thank you for that. And thanks for checking out the podcast as well, if that's the way you're checking out this experience. All right, everybody, have a great practice session, and I'll see you all in the next one.